So, Terry, it's great to speak to you again. Always a pleasure. We're here to talk then about your new film, The Last
Yeah.
Heist. Now, my understanding is that originally this was a play. How did you have to, or how much of it had to be adapted before you could film it?
But the whole thing, I mean, basically, there's a writer called Michael Head who, is a sort of South London playwright, and he writes about, essentially, he's from that. Well, he's not, but his family were from that side of the tracks, and I think he, growing up, obviously, he saw a lot of this sort of true crime, bank robberies, gangster stuff. And I think he just thought, actually, I'm going to write some of these characters and put them in some plays. So I think he's done various plays, and this particular one was really unusual. And invited me to see it, but I didn't get watch it. But I said, look, I'll read it because he was going, oh yeah, it's a good film, and I read it. And the problem with it was, obviously, because it's a play, obviously plays are set on the stage. So obviously, to open it up so it becomes a film, quite tricky. But there was something Reservoir Dogsy about it, and I just thought I love the twist. So I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, rewrite bits of it, bring in a director, bring in some different cast, and then we ended up in lockdown, going, right, let's go make it. So this is another film like Rise of the Foot Soldier Origins that was born in lockdown, created in lockdown, and finished in lockdown. So it's been a long time coming. I mean, it was really frustrating for us because as we were trying to finish the film, everyone kept getting COVID. So the editor got COVID, then the music supervisor got COVID, and then the sound guy got cut. And it was just like every week, it was like, that film where they say, will everyone stop getting shot in lock stock? It's a
Yeah,
bit like that. Will everybody
yeah,
stop getting COVID? You know what I mean? I just want to get the film finished. So it took longer to finish it than I'd liked. But we in hindsight, with all these things, when you have delays, you reflect on the work and you say, actually, we do need to do a pickup here. We do need to open it up a bit here. We do need to change the music here. We do need to spend a bit more money on this, a bit more money on that. So I think the delays made us, if we didn't have the delays, I think we'd have not had as good a film as we've got now. So, the film got nominated for multiple awards at the Marbella Film Festival. It's already won a couple of awards at the British Independent Film Festival. It plays for full house at the Marbella Film Festival. I mean, Marbella Film Festival isn't Cannes, but it's, there was sort of 500 people actually bothered to get on a plane to go out and see the movie to support us, which was amazing. And we had a great weekend in Marbella. It was good to see the film nominated. I mean, really, the film should have won everything at that festival because when you go to a lot of the other, screenings, there was sort of like 3 people there and 10 people there. So I think, if I'm running a film festival, I'd go with what's popular. I wouldn't try and please everybody. So, we were happy that we got nominated for lots of awards, but we were unhappy that we didn't win them all. But that's just how we are. We're competitive people. But we obviously had the UK premiere last week. Again, 1,000 people, Leicester Square. I mean, it was an amazing evening. We had loads of celebrities, and feedback on the film was phenomenal. Everyone loved it. Everyone loved the twist. So, when you create content, obviously I've got a sort of actor and a producer hat on this one. But from a producing side, I think, when you make something, you want people to watch it, you want people to enjoy it, and you want people to go, actually, I've never seen something like this before. Otherwise you might as well just churn out a load of low budget gangster films where everyone's walking around going, you slag, you mag, you map it, um,
well,
so
there's a point in the film. There's a very obvious nod to Point Break in this,
yeah.
with the ex-president's masks for the gang, and you've chosen to use, understandably, Donald Trump. Now, the masks you got in this, I mean, he looks like a Toby jug that's been made by the inmates of a high security unit. But
Yeah.
what was whose decision was it to use Trump rather than, say, Boris?
Well, we're all massive Trump fans, so you know, we it was an ode to Trump. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. Now, what happened was, uh, obviously in Point Break, you know, they did it with Reagan, and I think whether you love or hate Trump, I just think he's a funny character, and obviously the masks don't really look anything like him. They're like caricatures of him, but people know who it looks like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's obviously meant to be Trump, but you know they're not Trump lookalike masks. But we just thought it'd be quite funny because obviously in England, I mean, you know, Trump is a sort of worldwide sort of face. You know, if you go anywhere in the world, people know who Trump is. You know what I mean? So we just
Yeah.
thought, you know, he's probably one of the most iconic presidents the US has ever had. And we just thought, you know, making bank robberies great again is a funny line. So, you know, we just thought, well, why don't we use that? And why don't we, you know, so it's just, it's humor, it's fun, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not, there's no political message or there's no, you know, anti-Trump rhetoric. It's none of that. It's just a bit of fun. So somebody asked me the other day about it, and I just said, there's no hidden subliminal message in it. We're not, you know, these sort of, you know, massively left wing Trump haters. You know, we're just making a film and it's fun. Do you know what I mean? So
So,
that's it, basically.
so Terry, your films have got an increasingly eclectic cast. You've got a Love Island contestant in this,
Yeah.
and you've got who is becoming a staple of the films now, the adult actress Emma Butt. Is there a reason? Is this deliberate because they bring an audience with them?
No, I'll tell you what it is. When we cast a film, you know, I'm a great believer in giving people opportunities and chances. And Jack Fincham, obviously, you know, he won Love Island. He's a reality star, right? But he's also an athlete. I mean, he's just turned pro. He's having his first pro boxing fight under Frank Warren. And he said to me, he said, I've always wanted to have a go at acting. I've had some acting lessons. And I said, look, so we've got a tiny part in the movie. We'll audition you, right? And he auditioned for it and he nicked it and he was good. And I just went, look, mate, you know, you ain't going to be playing the lead, right? But, you know, you do this little role. People see that you can act. People see that you're natural. And then you do something else. You do something a bit bigger. It's like his first pro fight. He's not going to fight Tyson Fury. Do you know what I mean? He's going to fight some, you know, and build up his career. So he obviously from a press perspective, he's got a lot of fans, and you know I think he brings awareness to the project. Same with Tyne Lexi Carson, who also was in Love Island, but she also has a small part in it. But I think with these things, you know, they call it stunt casting, right? It's like you know, if you're going to do something and use somebody, they've got to be out to act. Otherwise, it just becomes a parody. So, you know, both of those audition for it. They've both done a good job. Perry Benson obviously has been in, you know, hundreds of films. Everyone knows who he is. So he
Well,
was an obvious choice.
it was Perry. I
Sam
was
Gittins. Sam
sorry.
Gittins, I worked with him on Foot Soldier Origins, a great actor. So I just thought he'd be perfect. And yeah, obviously Michael wrote the play, so obviously he was going to play that part like he did in the play. And I think, you know, with regards to Emma Butt, you know, she actually said to me, I mean, you know, she's I can't say how old she is because she'd probably shoot me for saying it. But she basically said, "Look," she said, I'm not doing the porn anymore. You know," she said, "I really want to go into acting." And you know, one of the scenes in Foot Soldier, the Pat Tate story, we couldn't get an actress to do it because it was controversial, and you know, most actresses don't really want to be running around naked. You know, with guys sniffing coke off their tits. You know, it's not something that any actress that comes out of RADA sort of aspires to do. So, unfortunately, sometimes you have to find, you know, either glamour models or porn stars that are open to doing it because you know it's obviously not as bad as what they were doing. And you know, she has got a massive fan base. Obviously, the majority of them are men, but she's got a lot of women that follow her as well. And you know, she's really good in it. So again, it's that thing. And in this film, she keeps her clothes on. So you know, she actually said to me, you know, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I said, look, Emma, I said, if you wasn't any good, we wouldn't put you in the movie. Do you know what I mean? So I said, the fact that you are having a go and you're having a go at something new and you want to broaden your horizons because, you know, if you've chosen to be a adult entertainer, whether it's a a table dancer or a porn star or whatever. Obviously, it's like being a professional footballer. Eventually, the road runs out, and you've got to find something else to do. And I think most of them have done whatever they've done for whatever reasons. I don't judge anybody on their decisions. It's up to them. It's their lives. But if and what happens as a producer and as an actor, as I'm going through life, I meet these various people, and every single person I meet has got a story, has got a film, has got a book, has got an idea. Just like everybody wants to be in the movies, but I always say to them, I say, look, if you want to be in a movie, if something comes up where I think maybe you can fit in, you can audition, and if you do a good audition, you'll get the role. If you don't do a good audition, you won't be in the film. So I think that's kind of how I look at it. Some people would never employ a porn star in a movie or a reality star in a movie because they look down the nose at it and say it's smuggy and you should only use classically trained actors and actresses. But I'm not a classically trained actor. I've obviously went to acting school and studied the Meisner technique. I've obviously had acting lessons, and I've been in the theatre and I've done TV. So over the last 20 years, I've sort of honed my craft. But again, I'm not a classically trained actor. I didn't go to RADA. I had to go out and make opportunities for myself. So if I can create opportunities for other people that have got talent, then I feel like I'm doing, I'm opening some doors for people that may not, get that opportunity. So, and if people don't like it, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing it because I want to do it. And the films that we've been making have been massively successful. So I'm obviously doing something right.
Well, because the cast is so eclectic, here's a suggestion. Now, you not so long ago, you were on GB News with Nigel Farage.
Yep.
How about casting Nigel Farage in a film?
Do you know something? I think it'd be hilarious. And the thing is, he's another Marmite character like Trump. People love him and hate him. But when I actually got chatting to him, I think he's just a normal bloke. He's obviously got his opinions, and some people don't like his opinions. But it's a little bit like you've got these idiots, these just stop oil people, sticking themselves to roads and shutting down the M25, and you think, what is the benefit of this? It's not. People aren't going to stop using oil because people are just getting really annoyed about it. And I think in life, if you want to actually change something, you have to use positivity. Doing things like fucking up people's lives and ruining their day isn't going to endear them to you. People aren't going to go, do you know something? I'm going to donate some money to Just Stop Oil because there's that policeman the other day was a lorry hit him because of this idiot on a bridge somewhere. So I just think everybody I think what Farage wanted, his main thing was he wanted change, and I think when he got the change, that's when he went, okay, there's nothing more for me to do. But I think as he's I don't like to use the word retire because I don't think you ever retire from anything. You might step out of it, but you can step it back in. And I think with him, he's got his show on GB News. He's very popular. He's got massive social media presence. Again, some people hate him, some people like him. But I do think what he does is, I think he is now looking at what's going on in the world. He's looked at, the Tories have kind of become this weird sort of high tax, they become really like a Labour government. And, I don't agree with the lockdowns. I don't agree with all the things that they put in place. And obviously a lot of people now are sort of complaining about inflation and all this sort of stuff. And you think, well, if you shut down the country or the world and you give people money to sit at home, and then you say, right, it's time to come back to work. Nobody actually wants to go back to work. Everybody wants to sit at home and still keep getting their money. And I don't blame these people because if I was on a wage and someone said to me, you haven't got to come into the office and I'm saving 10 grand a year and I can work from home. When they say come back in the office, why would I? It's going to cost me 10 grand a year. So why would I do that? So I do get why, but this has all been caused by the government, So, the government need to obviously get a grip of it and sort this stuff out. I think that at the moment, all this stuff with, the policing and they're worrying about somebody misgendering someone on Twitter. They should be nicking these people that are burgling people's houses and stealing people's watches. That's, I read every day I'm getting reports from people that are getting mugged, women getting turned over when they come out of Harrods, people sitting in their cars getting their windows put through where people are trying to steal watches. I mean, you just don't see any police around, and then you see 20 of them all on the M25 looking at some idiot on the bridge, and you think this, So when you get these Nigel Farage characters ranting and raving and saying they want to do this, that, and the other, I think people just, if you talk to most people in this country, I think the majority of them do want some sort of change, but I don't think they know what change they want. But I think obviously law and order is an important one. And can you imagine if these people were doing this in China, or if they were doing it in Russia or anywhere like that, they just would not tolerate it. In America, if you had people closing down freeways in America, do you think the Americans would just be standing there watching? I remember being in New York when there was all the riots and stuff, and this guy in New York said to me, he said, if anybody does this in America, he said, the police just shoot them. I know that sounds controversial, but they're heavy-handed, and that's why this doesn't happen in America, or I mean, even in France are, they don't tolerate it either. So I do think this country, they do need to, the police definitely need to become more aggressive. I remember as a kid, wandering around, and you saw the police, and you stood up straight and you walked along, and you hope they didn't pull you over and ask you what you were doing, But the police were feared at one point. Now, they're doing sort of dances on TikTok, and it's just mad. It's just mad.
Well, whilst we're on Law and Order, we have been asked to ask you about, obviously, another foot soldier film, and I understand that there's a Tate film is just wrapped, but that there is going to be another foot soldier film. Can you?
Yeah, I mean, look, they're going to just keep making more and more of them because at the moment there's a massive appetite for these types of films. We've got a massive fan base now. It was one of Amazon's biggest films on Prime. It's gone out in Hulu in America. That's the first time Hulu's bought a foot soldier film. It's gone really well out there. The Tate one has got a great cast. Sadie Frost, the rapper RD. It's also got Phil Davis, who's obviously a huge acting stalwart. There's a guy called Anthony Scordy, who was in The Offer, that Paramount show. So did really well with that. And then I mean, you look at that, and you've got obviously Josh Myers, you've got Craig Fairbrass, you've got the usual suspects. We've started developing the foot soldier Ibiza, so that's going to be the next one. This one that's just finished now, that's going to come out September, October 2023. So that's when it's going to come out.
Right. So Terry, you very kindly offered me an opportunity to audition for a role, and I've got a line here as an East End gangster. So I'm summoning up all my drama knowledge, which is basically from watching film. So I'm going to give you the line that you give me. So here we go. Right. So here we go for my foot soldier audition, East End gangster. Right. You what, Terry? You muppet! You've stitched me up like a kipper. How was that?
I actually think you've got a wasted talent doing this. I think you should actually replace Craig Fairbrass as Pat Tate.
There you go. So my 3
What you've got to do, Simon, you've got to learn the lines. It looks like you were reading them. Yeah,
not read them. Right.
I think you've got to definitely be a bit more Cockney. You sound a little bit, uncockney there.
Let me try it again then.
Okay.
You what, Terry? You muppet! You've stitched me up like a kipper.
Yeah, again. You I don't know. It's just there's something missing. There's something missing, Simon. I don't know what it is. I'm not a director. You see, if I was a director, I could direct you.
Right. That's 3 years at RADA.
Why don't you take the glasses off? Try and with the glasses off. Let's see what you look like with the glasses off.
Right. All right. And not many better. I've got a face for radio. Right. You what, Terry? You muppet! You stitched me up like a kipper. Is this getting any better?
I think you need to learn it. Yeah, you haven't learned it. You haven't learned it. It's like you're reading it. You've got to learn it. So once you've learned it, then you've got to sort of make sure that the dialect's right. Because at the moment, you sound a bit like that rather than you muppet. You
this is
slag.
this is where my tutor at RADA was telling me, stop taking the script on stage with you. You've got to learn it.
Right.
3 years at RADA wasted, I feel.
Right.
Terry, as always, it's great talking to
No,
you.
thanks for having us on, Simon. And the Last Heist is obviously out on Monday. Um, it's going to be on all digital platforms. So it's on Sky Box Office, BT, Virgin, Apple, Amazon, Rakuten. It's Google. It's on all the Xbox, PlayStation platforms as well. So everybody can watch it on Monday, 12:01 a.m. on Monday morning. For those people that like late nights, and if you don't like late nights, it's on in the day. But I'm really looking forward to people's obviously seeing the film and feeding us back. And I do encourage people to support this film because it is British, it is privately funded, and I think at the moment, the cinema's going for a tough time. I think the industry is upside down, and I think people want these obviously British films, British made, British finance films to carry on. They need to support them, so that means don't illegally download it. And look, if you don't like it, just shut up. Posting stupid reviews on IMDb going, "Oh, it's 1 star" and all this because they don't like Jack Finch and being in it. It's just a waste of energy. And there's an old saying: if you've got nothing good to say, keep your mouth shut.
Right. Otherwise, you'll send Pat Tate around.
No, but it's silly, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
we're in this country and we all want to try and get on and we all want to try and help each other. And we all love British film and we all want to support each other, right? And supporting each other means that if somebody brings something out, be positive about it, tell your friends. And if you don't like it, look, there's loads of films I watch that I don't like, right? But it doesn't mean I go on IMDb or in social media saying, "Oh, I don't like, the new Disney film because of XYZ," or "I don't like this British film because of XYZ." If I don't like it, I don't like it. I don't need to announce to everybody and spend my life trolling people on social media. So I think what we need to do more in this country is to support each other and be positive. And that's my ending note.
Thank you, Terry.
All right, thanks for having us on, Simon.
Take care. Bye.
All right, cheers, buddy. Bye.